The following is a PodBeard production.
Sharing the stories of the tortured and the haunted. You are listening to Creep or Sleep.
Hello, you ghoulish fiends, and welcome back to the 4th episode of Creep or Sleep. This is your host, Goon, and this week is a story by none other than PodBeard founder TJ Harder. Now, I know you've heard that name before from episode 2, but TJ wrote in with another story. It's so haunting. It is titled, I Never Thought That I Was Alone. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Look around you. Are we ever really alone? So without further ado, here is my co-host Matt to read you the story, I Never Thought I Was Alone. I have the tendency to work odd shifts. Whether it's very early in the morning or very late at night, I always find a sort of peace in it. There's a sort of serenity in working alone late at night. That is, unless you aren't alone. I was working late one night on the side of the building that I work in. Though the washrooms and coffee shop are open 24 hours, this side of the building is closed, and it's the perfect time to get things done. I had worked alone on this side of the building many times, always by myself, separated by walls and locked doors from any other people. I enjoyed it, but honestly, I always felt like I was never alone. Sometimes I'd feel a presence around me, only to turn around and be met with the calmness of an empty storefront. I always felt crazy talking to people about it until one faithful cold summer night. I always knew I wasn't alone. As I worked with my back to the storefront and dining room area, I felt a chill run down my body. It was as cold as the icy breeze of a winter storm that shot down my neck and back. It was so real to me that I got goosebumps. I got up from the sink I was repairing to go grab a jacket, thinking maybe the air was getting in somehow. I left all of the lights on and doors locked behind me, as only I had a key this evening. When I returned to finish my work after grabbing a cup of coffee, I found the door unlocked and wide open. Obviously, I was startled by this, as I had reached for the keys just as I turned the corner. Only a few people have keys for this door, and none of them were even in that day at all. One was even on vacation that week. I knew something was going on. As I walked into the back line, I discovered that every single light was turned off. Puzzled, I assumed it must be a friend of mine playing a prank on me. "Ha ha, very funny," I said loudly with a chuckle. "Turn the lights back on." As my words echoed into the dimly lit room, I stood anxiously awaiting a reply. "Seriously?" I proclaimed as I set my coffee down near my tools. I wandered over to the other side of the room where the lights were and flicked them back on. As they all turned on, I heard a loud bang, followed by the sound of clanking tools. I was around to the other side of the room where my tools were, only to find them thrown across the room as if someone in a fit of rage had hurled them off the table. I was dumbfounded and terrified. I picked up my tools and shook the feeling of fear off. I grabbed my cup of coffee, only to find that it was ice cold, as if it had been sitting there for days. I angrily threw it in the trash. I cursed loudly and proclaimed, "Whoever, whatever you are, show yourself. Stop hiding and being a coward." These words were without a doubt the dumbest that have ever come out of my mouth. After I shouted and was met with silence, I turned around and returned to my work, only to find the sink filling with water, which was impossible as I had turned the water to the sink off. But there it was, shooting out of the tap, almost mocking me. I grunted as I turned the tap off, then the water began shooting out of a tap on the other side of the room as if in defiance. I ran over to shut it off again, letting out a loud, angry grunt. I'm not sure why I didn't just run out of the room then and there, but God, I wish I had. I began throwing my tools around and yelling for whoever or whatever was messing with me to show itself again. "I'm not afraid of you," I yelled. "I know I'm not alone." As the final words came out of my mouth, the lights shut off again. This time, though, even the emergency lights were off. I was in pitch black, and for whatever reason, maybe fear, I stood my ground. I felt the cold chill run down my entire body again, almost as if someone had run by me. I felt this chill a few times. It felt as if it was getting closer and closer and closer. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran faster than I had ever run before, towards the light peeking through the small window in the door. As I ran, I heard laughing, horrible, horrible laughing, mocking me. I felt more chills run through my body as I felt hands grabbing at me. Whatever it was right behind me, and it almost had me. Though the door was only a few feet away, it felt like miles. I dare not look back. I just ran. I finally made it to the door. I threw it open with a loud thud against a wall that shook the whole building as I ran through into the bright lights of the main lobby and threw the door shut behind me and locked it. I breathed easy. I felt safe. The chill was gone. I stared at the ground for a few moments, and for whatever reason, I looked up. Why did I have to look up? I looked into the small window of the door, and I was met by the face of someone or something that had just tried to kill me, horrifically smiling at me. Then it disappeared. I went home right after. I didn't sleep for days. I never worked alone in the building again, because I always knew that I was never alone.
So there you have it. I Knew I Was Never Alone by T.J. Harder. So what do you think? Do you really believe that there was something out there trying to kill him? Or do you think he's just trying to get his 15 minutes of fame on Creep or Sleep? Well, I know we were gone for a while, and for that we want to apologize. We will be back to our normal weekly schedule going forward, but be sure to tell your friends all about the Goon and the show Creep or Sleep. When we return, we'll have new stories. And until next week, will you creep or will you sleep?